Okay, this is a quick Emboss Metal video. It's really easy to do, but I get asked a lot about how I do it, so I just wanted to give you a couple of quick tips. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm using metal, and this metal came in a box like this. You have to be really careful when messing with this stuff because it is sharp and will cut you. So I suggest you use gloves if you like to, just to cut it. I don't because I'm crazy and I get a lot of craft injuries. I think they're my badge of honor. Okay, with this I'm using a couple of plates. I'm using a Sizzix die. It's a dragonfly because I want to cut the metal out so we can move on to the next step. So I just sandwich my die with my two plates and my piece of metal, and I put it through my big shot, and I shouldn't use it on this mat because it moves, but done deal. Okay, so got that done, and there's my dragonfly. Okay, and you just pop it out of the metal. Again, this is very kind of crazy, so you got to be really careful when you do this. Wear gloves if you can, if you're not used to messing with metal, and just pop it out so that you can emboss it. And a lot of people don't know what to do with this metal when they get it, which is why I'm showing this, because I didn't for a long time. I held on to it, and for whatever reason, until I figured out, oh yay, fun. Okay, so now we've got that done. So there's my dragonfly. Okay, quick and easy. So I want to emboss it with silver. Even though it's already silver, I want to give it that embossed chunky look. What I'm doing here is mixing a couple of silvers. Normally what I would use would be Versamark, which is this right here. It's a watercolor stamp pad. And you could just stamp the whole thing. Because I want this to have like a chunky, funky kind of look, I'm actually using just a bottle of, I guess it's refill for your pads. And I'm just putting mine directly on there, but you could put it on a sheet or a cup or, I mean, you know, whatever you need. And I'm just painting it on there with a paintbrush. The reason I'm doing this is because I want texture, and I want it to pick up a whole lot. I want this to look kind of, I don't know what the word would be, but you'll see once I'm done. So, and once I do these things, I put them on cards. I make a lot of mobiles, wind chimes. The good thing about doing this with emboss is it makes it last a lot longer. Okay, so I think that's good. Okay, and then I'm going to do this. Normally I would do it on a piece of paper, but I'm working with whatever I got around me right now. I'm going to do this, and I am going to just sprinkle this. Put you back on here and just fill in some spots. Every spot probably won't fill in for one reason, because sometimes on certain surfaces the emboss dries pretty fast. So I'm going to take my heat gun, which is kind of noisy, it's because it's the big gun, and I'm going to heat this up, and there he is, or she, whichever, my very textured. Now, here's another tip. First of all, this is going to be hot for a minute because it is metal. Secondly, when you use this as opposed to using your Versamark pad. The difference is this is thick, so it's going to take a longer time, just a few minutes, but a longer time for it to dry all the way through, whereas with this, it's going to dry almost immediately once you heat it up. It's all dried up now. Look at that. If you do both sides of these, this is great for hanging outside because it's kind of protected. Another thing I use, which is a tip, is this stuff. I love this stuff. They make it in different makers make it. It's a water-based glaze and glue. I like this brand, so I use it by the buckets. But I use this to coat or seal all of my little pieces so they last forever. I even use it on jewelry, so whatever, and which I think it originally came for anyway. And so I will seal this up when I'm done. And if I were going to make this into a mobile, I would have punched a tiny hole in the head or in the wing somewhere so I could hang it up. So that's embossing on metal.